Greetings and salutations, my friends. Welcome to another Total War Warhammer guide. Today we are looking at the High Elf Cavalry. We've got some melee cavalry there as well, but we've also got a couple of shooty stuff. So let's have a look. We've got, first off, we've got the Reavers, we've got the Archers and the normal ones, we've got the Silver Helms and with shields, we've got the amazing Dragon Princes, and then we've got two flavours of Chariot. But as always, let's start with the... a bit of model action, and again, they're just top quality. There's the Reavers with the Archers. We've got the normal Silver Helms here with the shields. And then we've got the amazing Dragon Princes, who just look badass. I'm just going to suggest maybe they might have a good charge bonus. Look, you remember that, mate, right? Just remember that before you... I'm going to be a genius. I'm just saying it now. And then we've got the amazing looking Chariots. They're some of the best looking units in the game, the Chariots, I think. They're really nicely done. Right, let's have a look at what we've got going on here and talk about tactics and shit, right? So, first off, we're going to start with the bog standard scouting high elf cavalry, the cheaper end of it. You get a unit of 60. All these units come in 60. Oh, apart from, Chariots and shit. They're very fast. They got Vanguard deployment. They can't shoot. They don't survive a massive amount of time. These obviously are your sort of artillery hunting, ranged infantry hunting unit. They cannot stay in a fight at all. You need to charge and get out every time. They do not sit in a fight. A lot of their bonus comes from this charge bonus of 40. That's where the damage comes from. Just charge through a unit, move on to the next one. Then you have the upgraded ones with the Archers, so they can... amazingly far whilst moving, because they're high elves, because they're just good at that sort of shit. These are really, really nice just for harassing enemies, especially if they're low on firing. If you're up against a Skaven army that you're not too worried about the amount of shooting they've got, is that you can just run up to the front of the army, start shooting, and just pepper them all the way back until they're actually going to clash. So you can actually really weaken the enemy. And of course they can do the same purpose as the normal Reavers. They lose, obviously, a lot of their charge bonus, but they're still good enough to go in and take out basic ranged infantry or artillery crews. Just more sort of advanced stuff you might want to be careful with. But obviously the Reavers are just there. I love fire while moving, so I'm going to be using them a lot. So then we go on to the next sort of standard knight, which is the Silver Helms. Just a well-armoured, lance-ridden knight dude, I think is the technical term. 6,000 infantry? No. 6,000 hit points, armoured and anti-infantry, and then you've got the dudes with shields, which gives you a bit more melee defence, a little bit less charge. I think if you're in a shooty heavy army, go with the shields, but obviously these perform sort of similar role, that they can go after artillery crews, they can go after ranged infantry, but these were almost more used as the second wave. They are the guys that once your units have clashed into each other, these are the ones that are going to be doing the flank charges and the rear charges and stuff, hoping to break enemies and move on. Again, still don't want to get them stuck in combat at all, either with shielded or without. Just don't get them stuck in combat. Attack, move on. Attack, move on. Then we have the most heavily armoured of them all, the Dragon Princes. Let's have a little comparison. So they have another 720 hit points, they got more armour, much better leadership, they got more weapon strength, and they have a charge bonus of 8. I told you it was going to be good. I told you. A charge bonus of 80. 80! They do so much damage. And they've got the basic stuff, but they've also got fire resistance of 70%, which is nice. Might come in handy once in a while, but still nice. They've got dragon armour, which is all their armour shielded and stuff like this. So these are obviously just giant big charge monsters. Again, see, look, attack and defence, it isn't fantastic. Weapon strength isn't fantastic. It's all about that charge. Get the charge in, run off, charge again. Simple as. But they do even more damage than you'd expect. So let's have a look at the two types of chariots. The Tyrannok chariot is the standard high elf chariot. It's got a couple of dudes on there that can shoot. It's got anti-infantry and it can fire whilst moving again, so very much the same as the Reavers with the bows. They do magical attacks, which is nice. They've got a good range and decent damage. Again, used very much in the same way as Reavers. What's their charge bonuses? 55 compared to a normal Reavers 40. So they're a bit more punchy on the charge, so you're more likely to break stuff. But again, this is just another harass unit. Obviously, you lose the Vanguard deployment, which the Reavers have, but still very, very good. And then you've got the Ithelmar. I never know how to pronounce this stuff. The Ithelmar Chariots, which is much more fighty. It's armoured and anti-infantry. If we compare the two here, where are you, little fellas? So we have almost 1,000 more hit points, a shit ton more leadership. Everything's better apart from it's a tiny bit slower. But we can live with tiny bit slower when it does this much damage. Bonus versus infantry 24. Again, these want to be used very much like the Dragon Princes. Just charge in, murder some people, get out, move on to the next. They're very manoeuvrable. They're pretty tanky, very much fun. But pretty much with all these units, as with most cavalry in the game, you don't want to leave them in combat, because even like the Dragon Princes have amazing armour, but they will get whittled down. You can leave them for longer, but just don't forget about them, okay? Keep them moving. Right, there you go. I think I'd go for the Reaver Archers, just for their... You lose a little bit of charge over the normal Reavers, but I think with the shooting and the fire whilst moving makes up a massive amount of difference. They can both Vanguard as well. So, but I'm going to go for the Reaver Archers. With the Silver Helms, I'll probably just get the shields, because there's a lot of shooty armies out there, so the shields help with that. With regards to chariots, both of them are useful, although I wouldn't need to take a bunch of Tyrannok Chariots and Reaver Archers, because they do a very similar job. Again, with the Chariots and the Dragon Princes, a very similar job. The Dragon Princes are stronger, and they can stay in the fight a little bit more, but the Chariot still does a shit ton of damage on that charge. A charge bonus of 70 compared to 80, so it's not far off. So, again, don't need too many units of each. I'd kind of be inclined to sort of pick one and have a couple of that unit, really. I don't like every different unit in my army. They're more themed than that. So I'd probably just go with Dragon Princes, because they're badass. Because if I'm taking Reavers and Chariots, one of the two, then I've got something that can still go after the archers, can still go after the infantry, the artillery crews. So I don't need another unit like that. We can do it with those two. So I'm going to go for, a couple of units of Dragon Princes, because they're just badass. They just look amazing, and they squash stuff. So there you go. There is our cavalry guide for the High Elf army. Let me know which are your personal favourites in battle and why. Help out other people. I'm not like a world expert on this, so let me know your thoughts in the comments. Go and check out my other guides and videos. Subscribe if you're new, and like the video if you did. If you didn't, hit the dislike video. It's all good. I love you lots. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.